Paramount Global has canceled the BET Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards in the nick of time. What up, word? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join the membership, gang. Listen, perfect timing, gang. Perfect timing. And I got mixed emotions about this because there are two ways to look at this, gang, and I'm going to look at them both ways. But at the end of the day, it was time. When you're telling me that the awards were trying to get back to their greatness and trying to return to what made them good, it means they're already bad. And we're at a point where they were doing the hip hop awards in a nightclub, and that means it's bad. At that point, it was already bad. It was so far gone, in the immortal words of Aubrey Graham. Listen, that thing, people didn't even want to show up to this thing anymore, gang. It was crazy. What I want to do right now is really talk about how we got there, how we got to a place where the awards became irrelevant. First of all, BET was a music channel. When I first got there, we first started watching BET, I'm going to go way back, gang. I'm talking about the 80s. We were watching BET. We were watching videos on BET. That's what BET was for. They had shows, Donnie Simpson and Island Vibes and Rap City, this, that, and the third. But let's be honest, everybody was there for the videos. They were showing old movies, and yeah, we love them old movies. Let's be honest, if you are from a home like I am, you know all the old movies. What's love got to do with it, and the 5 Heartbeats and all that good shit like that. You love it. You're born into this, right? I was born into this, right? You're born into these movies. All these very good, very thoughtful movies and these comedies, Martin and this, that, and the third. So you know what BET was about. You know what it can do. But let's just be honest. We were there for the videos, gang. 100%. Back when Video Jukebox used to let you put the 3-digit number of your favorite video, you can call and you can get a video for 99 cents. A lot of you guys got belt to ass because you ran your mama's phone bill up. Keep showing that damn 2 Live Crew video. You know you did it. Move something, all that. You know you did it. So videos was popping. Now, at the end of the day, the #1 spot to see them videos was BET because MTV wasn't trying to show them black people on them rap videos. I'm just going to be honest. Motherfuckers had to protest to get on there. Let's keep it a buck. They brought out Yo MTV Raps because of BET. All right? So BET is a pioneer in this space, and we're not going to act like BET wasn't doing their thing. They were all we had. I remember back, I think Rap City used to be 2 hours long. Then they had another show. I think they had Rap City. Then they had something else used to come on after Rap City. They had the show with the dude with the big head, something about the big square head. I forgot his name. But he had a show. Everybody had a show. Then they had Island Vibes and all that. So BET was flowing with music shows. So rightfully so, they had the right to make a BET Awards, right? And then they had the right to make BET Hip Hop Awards because BET was the cornerstone of all that good stuff like that there. I had a coworker back in the days, a middle-aged white woman. She said, my kids, the only thing they really bother me that makes me nervous is they're in there watching The Bet. I was like, what's The Bet? She said, The Bet, The Bet, the channel with the rap videos. Yeah, you mean BET? Yeah, BET was crazy because remember when Nelly took that credit card and slid it between that girl butt cheeks? That was BET Uncut. They shouldn't have been up that late, sis. But I get it. It was a lot of stuff going on. It was a lot of things going on BET, and we loved it. We used to watch BET every day. We had big dreams of going on there with Big Tigger, Big Les, and all these different people of that nature, right? We had big dreams of being on there, and once upon a time, that was where you got all of your hip-hop. It ain't like that no more. Hip-hop was much more diverse. At the same time, hip-hop was was new and different. So they were creating things around it, and the Hip Hop Awards was created around it. No other channel was doing the Hip Hop Awards. No other channel was doing the really, just let's call it what it is, Black Television Awards for black people. No one was doing that, and that's where for a time it was good because that's where BET came in and filled the niche, right? So they deserved that spot, and we revered it and we loved it, and it was much more to offer. Now in 2025, for the last, I want to say 10, 15 years, let's just be honest, they haven't really been showing no music. They haven't been showing no rap videos. Maybe 2 in the morning. I don't know when. First of all, BET programming is a wasteland. Now they want to charge you for BET Plus and this and that, so you can watch Miss Pat, right? So I'm like, it ain't much over there I want to even really watch. A whole bunch of fake Hallmark movies, right? Like, what we talking about? Like, no, I don't want to see half that shit. So at this point, BT itself, without the awards is doing a disservice. A bunch of reality stuff, a bunch of shows that didn't stick, a bunch of nonsense, stuff that we didn't ask for. They're not even listening to the culture no more. So how you going to have an award show and you're not even showing that, the people you're giving these awards to, you're not even showing their music on your channel no more. Like I said, I'm sure they got some version, because BET has several spin-off channels and this, that, BET Her and all this stuff. I'm sure they got some version where you can go find this music, but BET itself, they're not showing this music no more. They're not spearheading this. They're not the forefront of hip hop no more. So how you gonna master it? See where we're at right now, where everything's corporate. BET sold that. Let me slow down. I'm getting ahead of myself. What's going on with BET, right? The owner we all used to revere this guy, Robert Johnson. He used to own BET. And BET, he sold BET, which a lot of us were confused when he sold it. I know this is what rich guys do. They build something, they build it into a portfolio or whatever, and then whatever it is, they get it to be a valuable commodity, and then one day they sell it. That's what rich guys do. That's the whole purpose. They're making something, you make it to sell it. A lot of us were distraught when Robert Johnson, back, and let me read this, the founder of Black Entertainment Television, BT, and the first African-American majority owner of a major professional sports team in the United States, right? He grew up in Freeport, Illinois, and is the ninth of 10 children. He sold BET. He sold BET, and I have the information right here. Let me get to it. BET is not currently owned by Robert Johnson. It is owned by Paramount Global, formerly Viacom CBS. And in 1980, Robert Johnson became the first black-owned company listed in the New York Stock Exchange. And in 1991, and it was acquired by Viacom in 2001. So basically, in 2001, he built that company up from 1980 to 2001, and then sold it in 2001 for what I believe was $3 billion. He became the first black billionaire by doing that. Now, he reached his status of his own personal goal. But when he sold it to the other people, he sold it to the Paramount, which was Viacom at the time. Viacom owned MTV. So of course they're going to come in. This is what people do when they acquire shit. They want to make it. They want to make it make more money than it's making before, and they want to make it like whatever used to work in the past. MTV has historically been bigger than BET. So when they bought BET, you know what they wanted to do? They wanted to whitewash it and clean up a lot of shit that was on there that wasn't the same as MTV. They wanted to make money off both them channels. VH1, MTV, and BET. They wanted them all to be the exact same. I'm just going to be honest. If you look at all three of them channels, the reality shows, ain't much music videos no more. MTV is called music television. They don't show music videos no more. They haven't shown music videos in 20 years. They don't show, so what you think they're going to come along and do with with BET and everything else? So sweeped it up, cleaned it up, and started putting a bunch of nonsense on there, right? Just it is what it is. Now, this is the same station that came out with it says the Hip Hop Awards were started in 2006, right there. They wasn't even there no more. Bob Johnson was gone, right? I'm not gonna get into all the nonsense of the like scandals and this, that, the lady that comes out every year. Hi guys, starts talking. I'm not getting into none of that. You look that up yourself. But what I'm gonna do is talk about in 2006, you're trying to start the Hip Hop Awards, which is okay for a time. It's good, but at the end of the day, the BET Awards were already a thing, and BET itself was already very strong. But as it got purchased, it started to decline. The programming started to get bad, right? I'm just gonna be honest. They had some shows. Girlfriends and a couple good shows that we liked, right? But at the end of the day, it became watered down. So we got this version of this conglomerate that now needs to make the same kind of money that MTV is making. They don't want to do less. They want to do the same, or if not more. So what they started to do is mimic what MTV was doing with the award shows. People used to complain, why they got so much money for MTV and they don't got enough money for BET? But guess what? When you give them that kind of money, they need to return on it. So when you're gonna do these awards and you want to make them bigger and splashier, guess what? People got to come to them. We got to be Beyonce, Jay-Z, got to be these big artists every year to make these awards bigger. So when they don't get them numbers, guess what? They feel like they're losing money, and wish they were. And what happened with the Hip Hop Awards? Let's just state what's going on with that. Hip hop itself became much more dumbed down much more simplistic. It became much more blingy with less substance. And as you start to do things that are much more blingy and less substance, the whole program becomes blingy with less substance. You got to think these people that run these things, such as BT and these labels, this, that, and the third. They're not creatives. They're not artists. They're people that are there to come in every day and sit at their desk, kick their shoes off, and figure out how to make some money, right? Every single day. They're not there to be the most deepest person in the room. They're not there to figure out how to make the best beats, and they're not there for none of that. They want you to bring them the finished product and make it so that we can sell it easier. And what was going on with hip hop from, I want to say, probably 98, 2000, all the way to pretty much all the way through the 2010s, hip-hop became very formulaic and commercialized. And what we started getting was, for lack of a better example, the 50 Cents and things of that nature. We started to get a much more sleek, much more machine-driven, formulaic rapper who makes big records, the Ja Rules and the Ashantis, for lack of a better word, people that were in a factory that just made big records, giant hits, Nelly, things of that nature. And it became a thing where, okay, what's next? Ludacris, this, that, and the third. Bigger records, more sales. So as you're in that world, you're not looking at the little shit no more. Right? You're not looking at, yo, that fucking hieroglyphics was dope. Yeah, they was dope, but them motherfuckers still independent because they got dropped from Jive Records. So what I'm saying is, you're not looking for the people that's going to add artistic value to it. Now you're looking for that bottom dollar. You're not going to have a whole award show with a bunch of guys that are lyrical miracle rappers. You're not doing that. Which we would love that. You don't, but you're not gonna have, every time they bring on a De La Soul, it's like, yo, and by the way, we want to show some love. Let's to the pioneers of rap. So it's never like they're part of the extravagance, right? They're part of the, oh, by the way, let's honor those guys for doing what they do. But let's get back to this rap and let's get back to Lil Boozy in there, right? the Snot Boys and this and that and the third, right? So we're talking about two different things where now they got to decide what's big versus what's good. And what happened with the BET Hip Hop Awards, it started to be a show of what's big. And it became people who didn't earn them spots lyrically. They didn't earn them spots through their talent. They earned them spots because they made a big record and people liked the record. They weren't really MCs or hip hop heads or this, that, and the third. They were rappers who got a rap record to go, and they made a lot of money off the rap record, but they really weren't seasoned professionals, and it started to show. They started to get up there, and they started to look bad. They didn't care about their performance because all they was doing was rapping over their vocals, and it became a shit show. And if you people don't want to tune into a shit show year in and year out. So what did we start doing? Complaining. We started complaining about this, that, and the third. And hip-hop is such a broad word that we bringing everybody under the umbrella, right? We had Soulja Boy under the umbrella of hip hop. So it's like now you're bringing anybody that put a mic to their face and say they're rapping, now they're able to get up here on the stage and say, I'm a hip hopper. No, it's not like that. But that's where we were. And BET is in a conundrum now because they got to make this Viacom money back, but they also got to please the rap people. Well, the rap people weren't pleased after a while. It became 3 or 4 rappers in a row that was on some bling bling shit that couldn't really perform. They rapping over their vocals. So the hip hop heads start tuning out. So they're like, how can we fix this, that? So they started doing the hip-hop ciphers, which is supposed to be, they throwing us a bone, so now we back, we checked in, we locked in, da-da-da. But at the end of the day, the ciphers is not enough. The ciphers is not enough because it's too much that's not good about this. It was shows where the sound was bad and the arena where they was holding it was at. It just looked cheap. It looked beneath the artist level that was on there. And it also looked like the people that was there, it was unorganized. They're getting up, going to the bathroom. It's just like a whole lot of movement in the crowd. Everybody want to shake your hand. It looked ghetto. Let's just be honest. It looked kind of ghetto, just to be honest. So it looked like our thing was kind of beneath the other people's stuff, no matter how we presented it. It'd be mistakes and this, that, and the third. So it was always some nonsense. So now here we are with it. I ain't even touch on the Soul Train Awards, which Soul Train in of itself is an antiquated entity. You're getting up there telling people to lip sing. It's that was bad in the 80s. We watching people lip sing. Michael Jackson, one of the greatest of all time, getting up there lip singing. Get on the floor and dance with me. Like it's like, yo, he can sing that for real, gang. Don Cornelius, what you doing? But they kept the show smooth. You didn't ad lib. You didn't get out of pocket. You didn't say nothing crazy. You just got up there and pretended to sing your song. They interviewed you when you got off and you got the hell out of there. Hip hop slowly became a thing. Don Cornelius really wasn't having hip hop like that, but he got it and it started slowly. The Fat Boys, just now the third started being on Soul Train. But the lip syncing thing was always an issue. We put up with it in the 80s and 90s, but after a while, we got bored with it. We're like, we're all set with the show. So Soul Train in of itself was a failing dynasty that was going. They was always trying to save it and keep it it going to syndication. You would be flipping channels on a Sunday and be like, oh shit, Soul Train still come on. Like it was never a thing where we was actively seeking out Soul Train. And it started to go in less and less channels, and it was the WB in Seattle, like it's on the weird ass off, like the UHF channels, like you know you have VHF, US, like the lowest level of channels is over there. So Soul Train was hanging on by a thread, but somebody still was able to make money off of it. But for our culture, we were done with Soul Train years ago. So the Soul Train Awards, what is that? Why are we watching this? But they kept that going, And I used to ask myself, like, for years, like, how are they making money off this? It's like, how are you still making money off this when it looks like you barely getting any talent in there, and then when they get up there, the programming is awful. Anything you're recording ahead of time is going to look awful. And Soul Train Awards used to look boring, the music was low. I'm like, this is awful. This is tough to watch. And every time you would try to watch it, you get disappointed. Like, damn, you watch for one person, they make you wait forever to see the person. It's just like, everything about it was just awful. It's an awful presentation. So I don't even know how that shit lasted this long. But here we are, with both of them getting canceled, Now, I want to talk about that. What I did was, I said, let me do some research. Because we always complain about this shit, but we never ever expected to be canceled. We just thought it would be around forever. So what I went on Google. I said, listen, describe the last one, because it's 2024 BET Hip Hop Awards, right? And what I learned was, first of all, I forgot about most of the shit that happened in it, right? So I wanted to talk about why, because this is one of the awards they were trying to get back to being good. This is when they was like, okay, let's reverse course, guys, because they had got so bad, gang, it was almost unwatchable. No, not almost. It would be times where I would try to watch, I would turn it, because I'm like, gang, this is not it. It's like all these trash rappers. It's just like all this bullshit. It's like garbage songs that ain't really that good, but they got them up there. It's like, gang, y'all not really, you know what I mean? Let me explain something to you. A good DJ, right? A real good DJ that's gonna bang for 4 hours. He's not going to play all new shit. He's not going to sit there for 4 hours straight, just play a whole bunch of nonsense. A good DJ is going to know how to mix the shit. He's going to mix some shit from the 90s. He's going to mix some big records from the 2000s, 2010s, 2020. He's going to have a flow of really good records. It's going to be a flow of it. He's never going to just lock on 1 year and just play that for an hour. That's what the BET Awards was doing. They got to a point where they were trying to have everybody hot. They were trying to, if you weren't hot at the time, they would not have you on. And that's one of the biggest reasons that the awards got stale, because they only wanted what was hot at the time, which means they were putting up bubblegum popcorn shit that was low-key corny, and they didn't care. They just put it up there. It became like, no, we need everybody hot. This person has no personality, doesn't care. Get him up there. He's rapping over his vocals, doesn't care. Get him up there. And it became a shit show. So last year's awards were when they were trying to return to hip-hop. Kendrick had dropped Not Like Us, This, That, and the Third. They were trying to return to it. So I want to talk about that. They had Fat Joe as the host, and by then it was too late. They're not making money on this stuff no more. They're talking about streaming awards now. It was too late. But let me talk about this. The 2024 BET Hip Hop Awards was a high-energy, club-like event held at Dre's nightclub in Las Vegas. Stop. You holding it at a nightclub, you already lost. Let's end this. It's time. Ain't no nightclub in the world is going to be good enough for no award show. It ain't going to work. I'm sorry. It is what it is. As soon as you told me that you're putting us in a nightclub, I'm going to say cancel it. Let me continue. Hosted by Fat Joe. Travis Scott received the I Am Hip Hop Award. I don't know why you would give it to him, but let's just keep it moving. While Kendrick was the biggest winner, taking home 8 trophies, which is an easy pick at that time. They didn't even have to think about that. Kendrick was the biggest biggest artist in the world at the time. It's a no-brainer. Put him on there, give it to him. Fuck it. Get him, hopefully show up. The show featured performances from artists like 2 Chainz, which I like 2 Chainz, Glorilla, and Trina, and celebrated the year's best in hip-hop with the focus on live music and community. The key aspects: Fat Joe returned to host the event. The location took place at Dre's. A voting academy of industry experts chose the winners. Kendrick Lamar dominated the awards, winning 8 categories, including Song of the Year for Not Like Us and Best Video Director. Travis Scott, Trina, and Big Boogie performed. The show embraced a nightclub vibe with a T-shaped stage, stripper poles, and attendees in lounge attire, resembling a night out at the club more than a traditional award ceremony. They were reaching, trying to be different, and it failed. And I remember that. I remember saying that awards wasn't that bad. But if I'm saying it's not that bad, that means it ain't good. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, this is where we are. Sexy Red won best hip hop artist Best Breakthrough Hip Hop Artist. Other artists with multiple nominations included 21 Savage, 41, Meg Thee Stallion, who led with 12 nominations, and Drake. The 2024 BT Hip Hop Awards was a vibrant celebration of hip hop culture, highlighting both established and emerging artists with an emphasis on high energy and live performances and a unified community atmosphere. So what I'm saying is they were trying to preserve it. It's not going to work anymore because your channel openly does not even promote hip hop itself. It promotes a lot of drama, a lot of nonsense, and a lot of Tyler Perry stuff. So they're not even connecting with that. So yeah, I think the people who thought it was cool to program this channel like this are trying to now program a hip hop event. They've already ruined it for years. The only saving grace that has come every single year has been the ciphers, which is not strong enough to carry a show. You're not going to have people get dressed up, come out to see motherfucker Cypher on a pre-recorded Cypher. Or you're not going to have people tune in just to see the Cypher. They can see the shit on YouTube. So you're looking at it's a troubled, first of all, the cable's dying as it is. People aren't watching stuff in real time like they used to. And if you're not getting the biggest names in the world, the biggest artists in the business, and the artists got to be good, let's just be honest, people aren't watching, people aren't tuning in. It's going to be some, but I think they said like it had a 50% like loss. Like it's so crazy right now where you can't even make money off of it. Dude had to make a tough decision, but the reason we got here is because they took the hip hop out of this shit in the first place. That shit is just like the Who's Popular Awards. Who's the rapper that people are playing the most right now awards. It's not about talent anymore. But that's the game been like that for a while. Hip hop, everything, rap, R&B, everything has been about who's more popular. They're not even doing artist development anymore. They just, if you're already popping, good, let's sign it. They were signing YouTubers, gang. Damn, YouTuber named Rice Gum got a record deal. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you could do a half decent rap, they were throwing you money. Still do. They still putting on rappers right now. YouTubers as rappers right now. If you make a record right now, you got a million subs. This shit, sign a dotted line. So they've been doing this for years. But these people got to keep their yachts. They got to keep their condos. They got to keep their homes. So they trying to make a lot of money. Right? You looking up and daggone Bad Barbie's a rapper, right? Getting awards for rapping. It's weird. It's crazy. Let me keep this pushing. So where we are now is these things are not making any money, and the people trying to present them on don't know how to present them. The Hip Hop Awards, let's just be honest, the Hip Hop Awards should not ever be about who's making the most money, but that's where we are. Who's making the biggest records, and that's where we are. The Hip Hop Awards should have always been a small thing that never needed a huge budget. Because the Hip Hop Awards is people going to watch that regardless. You made it big, you made it flashy, and that's not what hip hop is. But now that it's big and flashy, now you got to pay the bills for them lights. And now you're trying to throw this, that, and the third at the wall. You're throwing too much at the wall. Hip hop is a lot of things, but at the same time, it's very few things. It's very stripped down. It's about what's good, what's the culture doing. And these guys lost sight of that years ago because anybody and everybody could get up on that stage, grab an award, do a show, do a song, no matter what the temperature is. People were talking, let's just be honest, people were clowning Sexy Red for that thing. But this is the thing, they don't care. As long as you watch, it doesn't matter. And I have no problem with Sexy Red, but what I'm saying is people were, especially at that time, like she hadn't even progressed past a lot of people have an issue with her, how risque she is and her subject matter. But BT took no notice of that. They didn't put no thought into that. It's like, yeah, let's put her on there. Which is whatever. At the end of you got eyeballs and that. And a lot of people was talking about it. She went viral. This, that, and the third. They did what they're supposed to do. But at the same time, what's the counterbalance? And it can't be like when you throw a spit up there, it's like you're throwing them a bone. Like when you throw some real good artists up there, there's some people that could have put some really good shows together. They don't get the chance because the people that's in front of them being pushed by the corporations, those are the people going to get up there. And corporations not pushing nothing that's going to be good on. Let's just be honest. They're not really pushing shit that's good for the culture. So they're going to push some trash up on the stage. Then they're going to get up there and you're going to be like, yo, I'm just going to be honest. I saw Sexy Red on Saturday Night Live. I was like, oh shit, this is rough. Like, just going to be honest. I'm not hating on the chick, but what I'm telling you is some shit, everything ain't for everybody, gang. Everything is for everybody. So it's not that it's her. I'm just saying some places you perform differently. Some places your music should be done in a different way. I feel like if we display good hip hop, it will follow a trend. People don't understand that this culture has a lot more to offer than just a lot of low vibrational nonsense. But I want to read this article so we can have more in-depth conversation because there's a few more things that I do want to be clear about. Right? Let me read this Vibe magazine article. All right, here's why the BET Awards were suspended along with the Soul Train. Hip Hop Awards. No, I said that wrong. Here's why BET has suspended the Soul Train and Hip Hop Awards. BET has officially hit pause on two of the most iconic shows, the BET Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards. Both awards have reportedly been suspended indefinitely, according to the network, and that means they have no plans on bringing them back unless they find a way to make money from them. Let me continue. BET CEO Scott Mills confirmed the news in an interview with Billboard, saying, so far for BET Linear, we have suspended the Soul Train and Hip Hop Award shows. That means regular streaming, regular, like when they're beaming it through an antenna, when you get it live, that's what he's talking about, like one channel. He's not talking about the internet, this, that, and the third. But we have a team that's actively thinking about where those award shows might best live as the media climate changes, media continues to evolve. They aren't gone, and we also still have the NAACP Image Awards and the Stellar Awards. So what he's saying is we about to start recording this shit and putting it up somewhere, and if you guys want to watch it, you can. If you don't, you don't. They're trying to figure out a way to do this as cheap and efficient as possible. It's never going to work until you put the hip-hop back into it, first of all. And second of all, it's going to die if you start recording it and throwing it up 3 days later. And one of the things I always said about this award that they started doing that I never ever understood was once it went off, they wouldn't repeat it. I never got that. And I know they were trying to do what MTV did. I told you, they both companies that. But back in the day, for years, they would put it right back on immediately, which you guys complained about that too. But when the award show went off, it's 3.5 hours. As soon as it went off, it came right back on. They stopped doing that because you guys complained so much. But when they stopped doing that, they lost a lot of people that would watch the replay. A lot of people these people, they were eating hand over fist, so they thought they were making great decisions. They weren't. When they lost that replay, they lost millions of views on the second hand. They try to make it like, you gotta watch it when it happens. Because in corporation mind, they're looking at it like, why would I watch the one at 8 o'clock when I could watch the shit at 1 in the morning? If I miss it, I don't gotta go tune in and live tweet, da-da-da. But at the same time, when you lost that one, and that second one, you lost a lot of people chances to start tweeting about it again and da-da-da. So I think that was one of the things they messed up was trying to not let people rewatch the video. Let me keep this pushing. It's less about them being no longer and more about our team having to reimagine them for this changing media landscape that we find ourselves in. I think what we're going to see are more people taking franchises and saying, this might have started on linear television, but now I'm going to move it to another space. Do I move it to streaming or do I move it to another platform? Let me just say this. When ABC moved Dancing with the Stars to the app, the Disney app, that shit went 00. That show's been running on that channel for at least 10, 12 years. Dancing with the Stars was on ABC. When they moved that to the Disney Plus app, no one watched it. They had to move it back. But what I'm saying is that's what he's talking about, moving it to an app or something like you're going to watch it on BT app, then they're going to try to charge you $9.99 to watch the shit, and no one's going to watch it. So this shit is dead. Let me keep this moving. The BET Hip Hop Awards launched in 2006, while the Soul Train Awards traces back to 1987. For decades, both shows have celebrated artists and influential figures' contributions to Black culture and music. The original BET Awards currently remains active as it recently celebrated 25 years since its inception. They're going to put all their focus on that. They're not dropping that. That is the last bastion of excellence over there. So you saw the last BET Awards, everybody came out. I think you had Mary J, Nelly, everybody, Ashanti, everybody was performing. That thing was all the stars, everybody. They're going to start focusing on that. They're like, this other stuff is a distraction. And let's just be honest. When you look at BET, every time the thing comes, the awards are coming. You don't know which awards it is. Let's just be honest. You confuse the BET Awards with the BET Hip Hop Awards, then the Soul Train Awards. You're like, God damn, it's a million motherfuckers getting awards all damn every 3 months. So it did get a little confusing and it kind of watered down. So now they're like, you know what? We're going to eliminate all that other stuff and we're going to put everything, all the eggs into the basket of the BET Awards itself. That's what's happening. BET also recently announced a revamping of its hit show 106 in Park into 106 in Sports. What? 106 in Sports is a collaboration with Spring Hill Entertainment, and everybody is working feverishly to get it ready to launch in the fall. We're going to start with the weekly show at that point with lots of wonderful guests, and it will apply to the best elements of 106 and Park structure and format to the sports world. I don't know what they're talking about. That sounds like a disaster, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be great. He emphasized that while music remains central to BET, the network is recognizing how sports have become an integral part of the culture. See, this is where... all right, let me say this before I ruin some chances of me coming up, getting on some shit. Let me just say this. This is when people don't know what to do. The shit was called 106 in Park. Just call it that. If you're going to bring it back at all or give it a new name. 106 in Sports, who's mixing these two things? Who? Where? What channel's mixing these two things? Where are Kendrick and LeBron coming out at the same time? On what channel? What's happening? How? How are you going to make the sports and the music mix at the same time? Please, I would love to see that. No one's asking for that. No one's like, why don't they put basketball with hip hop? No one's saying that. They're not listening to the people. No one's going around looking for that. No one. But they're going to try to make it, and then it's going to flop, and they're going to be like, well, why? What happened? I'm telling you right now, no one's asking for that. But let me keep it moving. Adding another layer to the network's evolution, last year, Paramount Global reportedly put BET on the market. They're trying to sell the shit. They don't know what to do with this shit, gang. They're trying to sell it. Bro trying to keep his job. This CEO, Stephen Mills, or whatever his name is, Scott Mills. He's trying to keep his job. They're trying to figure out how to do like homeboy that took over the Red Lobster. He brought back the cheddar biscuits or something. Like, they're trying to figure out what to do. They don't know what to do, bro. Right? They don't know what to do. So they're just like, we're going to sell this shit. Fucking sell it. Who want it? So it said, with an asking price of about $1.6 to $1.7 billion. According to Variety, this exclusive offer was extended to potential buyers, including Mills, who joined BET in 1997. So bro been there for a minute. He been back there since Biggie was around, like damn near, you know what I'm saying? And became CEO in 2021. So he been grinding. He knows his way around the building. He been there since Donnie Simpson and everybody else, right? Past prospective buyers included Tyler Perry, Sean Diddy Combs, and Byron Allen. Salute to Byron Allen. That man is a hustler. He knows what he's doing. You don't even know what he's doing. He got a million shows. This dude, billionaire, gang. Byron Allen go back to my day. He used to be on the show called Real People. I used to watch Byron Allen back then. Salute to that man. He got a big bag. But apparently none of these people have bought this thing yet. Nobody sees the 1.6 billion value in it, because at the end of the day, BET has lost its way, and it depended on a lot of really sappy Hallmark style movies and reality shows. They're not really speaking for the culture. They haven't figured this out. Right? They're trying to do Bravo mixed with freaking USA Network. They don't know what to do, and it's all over the place because they're not tapped into the culture for real. So they're trying to figure out what does the culture want. They're just making shows for anybody who want to watch them. It is what it is. So I'm gonna leave it at that, man. You let me know, but I feel like what they did, we lost something that could have been special, but it haven't been special in a long time. Having a special. That's why I kind of, like I said, I got a mix of emotions, because this could be made great again. But they won't listen to me. They won't listen to nobody, because they got quotas to hit. They won't listen to what it really takes to make hip hop special again. It has to be better than what they're doing. It has to have much more. It got to have a lot more going on than what they're doing. The hip hop awards ain't never coming back, and if it come back, it's gonna still be trash, because they don't know what they're doing with it. They don't even know what hip hop is. They're just throwing all that shit in the blender and just letting it mix up. All right. You want some consulting, hit your boy up. I'll tell you what to do. But listen, I'm out of here, man. I ain't talking about this no more. Let me know what you think. CLBMG, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. All right, if you feel a certain way about the BET Awards, put it in the comments. Let me know. If you feel like they should stick around or they making a mistake, talk about it, all right? Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show. Me, TJ, and Flays. We talk about hip-hop. Tap in. All right, that's it, man. I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard and put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim, and left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within, with the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin, with the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin, and then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah.